I don't actually have my Stream Deck plugged in, so I'm doing everything manually tonight. What's going on, guys? You know what? I don't need this over here. Actually, I can watch the chat right here, so it's good. All right. So, I do realize I normally have OBS down here. I'm being dumb. I'm still set up from doing the podcast. So let me pull this over here so I can see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so I.D.H.T.M.S. What? You're just saying weird things there, John Tucker. Alright, so got a few people here. Welcome back to the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel. Normally this would be Throwback Thursday of sorts, but I didn't feel like actually doing any copyright things. Tonight, we did have one copyright thing refused that I tried to fight. So I don't know what that means for that video, but we'll see what happens. But no real reactions tonight. Just gonna sit and chit chat with you guys, and it's a Ask Shoky live. So if you guys have any questions for me, whether that's about me or hobbies or music or whatever, just in general, as long as it's not like extremely personal, like very specific information. But I'll reserve the right to refuse questions realistically in that manner. But if you guys have ever had any questions about things like that, whether it's me or whether it's about YouTube or anything, just do whatever. It's fine. Okay, let's see here. I know we got a John, we got a Trisha, we got a me, we got a Denise, we have an April, we have a Joyce, and nobody else just quite yet. Everybody just saying hi to everybody. I think Christine will probably be here in a bit, and also Will also commented. So yes. Can't stay long tonight. That sucks, Denise. I'm sorry. Yes, there would be no purposeful doxing. You guys know I live in Texas, near Houston, so there's that, essentially. So, yes. So, just no purposeful doxing. But I mean, I'm generally an open book as it is, and if you're listening to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, you would know that because we talk about a lot of stuff. Tomorrow there's a very particular episode coming out that I listened to twice today because I enjoyed it that much, and not just me tooting my own horn. I actually really enjoyed our conversation. We start talking about what happened to Dave Chappelle, where he got attacked, and we start talking about his attacker and his excuses for doing what he was doing. And we end up talking about the nature of bullying and how that can be kind of cyclical in nature and stuff like that, and how that could also be fueling for motivation of certain things. So, yes. So that'll be a good one. If you're interested in that, go check out the Now You Made It Awkward podcast. I don't think I shared Wednesday's initial episode over here, but if I didn't, I will fix that in the thing. So yes. But like I said, tonight's basically just going to be a Q&A. You know, whatever you guys want to ask me anything, and I'll do my best. You know, if you're interested in the other stuff I do, like you see all the rest of the stuff around me here, or, you know, just want to talk about life in general, or music, or other things like that, yes, it's all good. You guys know how we do. You know, we'll probably end up talking about food at some point, realistically. Excuse me. I'm going to have the music turned down just a little bit. I do want it playing, but I don't want it loud. No food. We're going to talk about food. Like we had jambalaya tonight. It was good. You know, just the Zatarain's mix, but I used the HEB mesquite smoke sausage, which was really good. I don't ever buy the mesquite smoke, but they were out of just the straight beef. So I used the mesquite smoke. It actually was good. Added a bit of extra flavor to the actual jambalaya, and then I sprinkled in some taco cheese, as it were, and then add some crystal hot sauce. You gotta add some crystal hot sauce if you're doing jambalaya. Come on. Shenrocks, what's going on? Okay, food, no sweets. Good. Okay, we're not gonna talk about sweets. So I won't talk about Oreos because that's what I had earlier this week for the way of sweets. I've been trying to be good, trying to be good. So like, if we eat a hefty dinner, I'm skipping breakfast. If like a couple nights I actually skipped dinner because I had such a big lunch. So I start like, if I skip a meal, I do it that way. You know, to try to do something to maintain or do something to deal with all this. You know, as it were. There's a reason the camera cuts off where it does. I did give myself a haircut today. I think it looks pretty good. I had the wifey check me over just to make sure that I didn't miss any spots. I'm gonna try to. I'm not gonna talk about them anymore. I'm just saying we had some Oreos. I kind of want to see how long I can get this, but keep it decent. Like, the problem is my beard grows under, like it you know, because this is like however long, you know, like that. But it tends to grow under. I can't grow it out. Never had enough. Never had enough heft to it to grow it long. Love seafood, jambalaya, best dinner I ever had. I'm not big enough on seafood. Like, I'm sure the wifey would have some like shrimp and stuff like that in it. My mom made some gumbo a while back. Was that on Mother's Day? I think it was. So, yeah, on Mother's Day we went to my mom, but I also had to work on Miss Shoky's car, and she made cornbread and gumbo. I'm not a big gumbo fan. I like jambalaya, but I'm not a big gumbo fan. And she put everything in it, you know, like some chicken, some sausage, some shrimp, and all that. And I'm just like only doing certain things. I'm having instant mashed potatoes for dinner. Excellent. Lady Scorpio, what's going on? My day was okay. Um, yeah, you prefer gumbo to jambalaya? Hey, to each their own. I think don't you need like, got to make like a roux for that basically? I mean, I think for me it's like, it's almost like gumbo is like really, it's like stuff and gravy almost. Um, so I don't know. And like I said, for anybody who's just popping in, as you can see on the title right there, we're just doing Q&A and just talking about whatever tonight. Hold on. It was free because I sprayed a little beer from the spigot, wanted to be sprayed again. Not sure what that means, John, but okay. The roux is secret to a good gumbo. Yeah, I believe it. Um, I mean, like, and speaking of beer, we tend to add beer to chili around here. Is what it is. I need to get better at making a roux because, like, I've made homemade gravy, like country gravy, like sausage gravy, you know, more or less. Not brown gravy. I haven't figured out how to get there yet. I know that basically involves you still do the same thing with the roux, but you've got to add like beef stock and stuff like that to get the rest of it. So we'll see what happens there because I kind of want to make some poutine sometime soon. But like I've gotten it down to where I can make decent scratch country gravy. To when I want to do you know, sausage and biscuits in the morning. The important thing for me was to have a non-scratching whisk so that I could keep the flour moving a little bit while it browned up. I need to get some cream like some heavy cream instead of just milk. You know, also trying to make gravy with without whole milk kind of sucks. Duggets, is it Duggets or Duget? Makes a really good roux. Comes in a jar. Use it all the time. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Oh, I still don't know what you're talking about, John. I always feel like I missed something. Like John's having a conversation unto himself sometimes. Okay, so the seafood jambalaya was the best dinner you ever had, and it was free because I sprayed a little beer from the spigot. Got it. Okay. Wait, was it good? Was it the best because it was good? Or was it the best just because it was free? Or was it really good and free, therefore making it totally the best? See, now I'm asking you guys questions instead of the other way around. Laura, what's going on? Shout out to Laura for having a Naimia shirt. Also, I'm drinking a Real Ale Vamanos. Let's goes. So they had a lime goes years ago, and I guess they just rebranded it and put it out under a new name. It's good stuff. Very nice and during hot weather, and it's getting hot. We're supposed to be in triple digits next week. Favorite holiday? Um, I don't know, to be honest. Let me think about that one for a second because most of the holidays are kind of ruined by my job. And have been almost my entire working career because I almost always have had to work Christmas or New Year's Eve, um, and Halloween. When I delivered pizza, Halloween was one of the worst nights of the year because there's kids everywhere, there's people everywhere. Very, very, very difficult to do your job. In fact, one Halloween, one of our pizza drivers had a kid jump out the back of a hay truck. You know, they were taking him around through the neighborhood. Everybody else was getting off on the passenger side toward the ditch. This kid jumped out the driver's side and landed on the dude's car. So he had to stop and deal with that. So yeah, that's a problem. Ginger ale. I mean, I would drink a ginger ale, but it would give me horrible heartburn. I don't know. Favorite holiday? Like I said, most of them revolve around my work and therefore are bad. So I mean, Fourth of July, I guess. That's like the most neutral one. And you get explosions and beer and barbecue and whatnot. Like Memorial Day, like any of the holidays that we celebrate on the Monday of the holiday, I get screwed out of for work. Like this upcoming one we have, I'm getting screwed out of that. I don't get my extra day off because my company is stupid. But yes, so I would say probably July 4th, realistically. Because other holidays just they don't matter to me as much. Like Christmas and stuff is great. It's just everything leading up to Christmas is terrible. New Year's is pretty neutral realistically, and it kind of has some of the benefits of July 4th, except the weather can be either horrendously cold or stormy or something like that. Whereas July 4th is almost always just hot. You know, it's like the summer's a lot easier to deal with. What else you got? Anybody? Come on. Don't just leave it up to Trisha. Bring it on. I did have a question from Christine, but I was going to wait for her. Like, she just happened to send me a question earlier because she was looking at a picture I posted on the Instagram. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram and stuff like that, which you see all my links right down here, um, you know, you see stuff. I don't have a separate Instagram for all my different things. It's all under the Shoky thing. Same thing for the Facebook. So, you know, if you see stuff posted there, um, you know, that's just me doing that realistically. So, she was commenting on the fact that I finally got some artwork hung up in the bathroom that was hung up in here, but didn't want to stay on the wall at all. I was using command strips, and literally almost every one of them fell. Here's hold on. Okay, then here's a cute question related to that. Would you rather go see big fireworks show or shoot them off yourself? Shoot them off myself because then you can do whatever you want, make it last how long you want, and or play with the safety of others, which is always fun too. Um, but it just depends. Like I've been, or at least witnessed big fireworks show, but I also don't like giant crowds. So like around here we have them. There's several nearby, especially near the lake. And I'm sure those are fun to go to, but I also just don't want to either be sitting on the side of the road watching these things from a distance. I mean, I could literally do that and watch TV. When they have the fireworks over Houston celebration where they just show everything off, with the music and stuff like that. So I'd rather be in the backyard somewhere, obviously not here, but I'd rather be in a backyard shooting off fireworks. Do I get Monday off? Monday is my normal day off, which is why I'm getting screwed out of it. So, yeah, we just get paid for the day off. Ow, hold on. My hand wanted to pop, but then it didn't. So no, Monday is my normal. Sunday and Monday are my normal scheduled days off. And in years past, work would roll over the holiday for us, so that we would get Tuesday off. So Tuesday is essentially our Monday, but the company isn't shut down on Mondays. But when the rest of the company is shut down on Monday, they would roll over the holiday for anybody who works Tuesday through Saturday until the last year or so when they just decided to throw that out the window and nobody who works Tuesday through Saturday gets an extra day off. Everyone else gets a 3-day weekend. It's kind of shitty. And I've tried to bring it up before, and they keep coming up with excuses. But anyway, okay. And yes, I get paid well. That's why I do my job. Um, what were your favorite cartoon shows? I assume you mean that as a kid. Um, I watched Transformers, a bit of G.I. Joe, a bit of He-Man, a bit of Thundercats, stuff like that. Um, if Sesame Street technically counts as a cartoon, that was one of the big ones. So I watched that for a very, very long time. Um, but those are like the main ones essentially. But then like once you get out of the 80s, you get into the 90s, you get into like the Disney Afternoon and Fox Kids and stuff like that. So even though I was still essentially like preteen, I was still watching those cartoons. I mean, I still watch cartoons. Jack of Blades, like that's a real person. What are you doing here? I haven't seen you in a long time, bud. Favorite sci-fi book to read? I'm not a big book reader anymore. I was as a kid, and I read a lot of Goosebumps, any of those type of books. I had a big collection of Goosebumps that I sold many years ago for an okay amount of money. Um, there was a book series called was it a whole series? I'm trying to remember. Either way, this writer, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. It was more fantasy than sci-fi, but it was Jeremy Thatcher Dragon Hatcher, and that was one of my favorite books as a kid. And it was about a dude who basically it's kind of like Gremlins, where a guy happens upon a little shop selling stuff, and he buys this really cool like shiny, glittery, special looking egg, and it ends up hatching into a dragon that essentially he can only see, and then he bonds with said dragon and eventually has to let that go. Hold on. Now I think everyone name I don't know is Will. Ha! It's funny. Also, things don't just have to be favorites questions. You can ask me just legit questions. They don't have to be favorites. Um, Actually, not a giant fan of favorites questions because usually they're pretty simple. But in this case, you guys don't know that much about me, so it is what it is. Favorite classes in school: science and art, essentially. And then eventually, when I got to the point of a writing class, I was good at that too. I was much better at writing things than I was at reading things. I was a very imaginative kid, and once it got to the point where I could actually write stuff out, um, whether that's either like a long form story or say like I was taking a pre-college course in English, and all the reading stuff I just completely didn't bother. I'm tired of doing book reports. I'm tired of reading these things and then answering questions about them and stuff like that. So I didn't do any of that work. And my actual grade in that class, I think this was junior year. Yeah, this is junior year. My actual grade in that class got down to like a 23. And then we got to the midterm, and the final paper of the semester was going to be a classification and division paper. And I was like, I can do that. And she said that we could do it on anything at all, whatever we wanted to do, as long as we backed it up, essentially. So I actually wrote a paper about classification and division of love. And I think it was like 3.5 pages or something like that, or 2.5 pages. I forget exactly how long it was, but I broke it down into all kinds of different things like that, and but in a narrative way, not just a report. And that paper got me a 98, which brought my score up to just barely passing, so that I didn't 100% fail the class. So that was good. Denise is being very suspicious. Everyone is Will, and then there is actually Will. Hmm. Sorry. What does that say? Were you a little shit as Tim references? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I was kind of a little shit. I was a spoiled little kid. I was a only child, essentially. My siblings were long grown and gone before I even came along, really. And I was spoiled. I was a little shit. And then once I actually became big enough for my britches, I became a bigger shit, as it were. Also, remember, cursing gets caught by YouTube, so sometimes your things won't be seen. So just remember that. En masse hello. Yes, after a certain number of people, you just say, hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Nick. Sorry, my hand is stiff. That's a good question. Anyone I'd like to interview? Yeah, there's a lot. Like, well, for instance, even on this particular show or channel, I wouldn't mind getting any of the guys from Home Free or any of the artists that we react to or review over and over. Even other YouTubers. I would definitely want to talk to other YouTubers like Trivex one day. I'd want to have him on, and him and Destiny on, just to chit chat and whatever. Just because even if you go back to my Shoky, the main Shoky channel, I have the Shoky Nerdcast 1-on-1, which is an interview series, and I have interviewed a few people that eventually became friends, but at that point they were just acquaintances that were bordering on celebrity, and then other people were just my friends. But there's a couple people like well, it will be interesting. I would like to have a podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, if you guys know who he is. He's an actor. He played Lex Luthor on Smallville, but he has a really cool podcast called Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. And it's not just him talking to celebrities about movies and TV, but it talks to them about their life. It talks about the psychological issues they've gone through and stuff like that. And it's a really enjoyable show. And he's like a very deep person, and he's a good interviewer. So he's somebody I'd like to talk to. Same thing with like Bert Kreischer. I'd love to sit down and talk to Bert Kreischer, one of my favorite comedians. I've met him in person after a comedy show, and I got to talk to him for just a second because the line was a million miles long. But I'd love to sit there and talk to him. Yeah, it'd be great if I could actually get an interview with the Home Free guys. It'd be fantastic. Um, but I'm open to talk to a lot of different people. I don't care. Like, it's just I like talking with people, and sometimes it's awkward. Like, you can even see, like, if you go back to Double October last year, I had 3 new people that I'd never talked to, who are not YouTubers, come on, and it was a builder showcase, and it was showing off their work, but then talking with them. And like, the hard part is for people who are not used to being on camera, not used to being interviewed, including, I believe, Jack himself, actually. um Sometimes you got to be able to get that kind of stuff out of people, and I kind of pride myself on that a little bit, being able to make people comfortable enough to talk to, because it's not like I'm a celebrity. I'm not. I always tell people the only difference between you and me is what side of the camera we're on, you know I'm not. It's like I'm not a celebrity at all. And just to talk to some of these guys who think who would think so highly of me because I'm a YouTuber, it's like no, I'm nothing, dude. It's like if I had a million subscribers, something like that, I was sitting there bankrolling on just my YouTube money. Maybe there'd be some ego there, but I'm still very very humble in this. Okay, hold on. Oh, you mean spicy, John? Sorry, I'm looking down at some of the questions. We've had our disagreements before, Jack. How hot for food? It depends on the food, because I like certain things to be pretty spicy, and other things. You guys might have been able to hear that. I don't know. But like I have a variety of hot sauces in the fridge, a variety of hot spices in the cabinet, and just depending, like I like my meatloaf with some decent spice to it, not just bland meat flavor. Hot wings, it'll just depend on the situation because sometimes I'll want it hot, but I do want some ranch nearby to quench my horrible mouth. But like certain Thai things, Asian things, I want a bit hotter. I even like good spicy barbecue sauce. I have some of the hottest hot sauce on the planet that's actually still edible because some of it is like hot for the sake of pain, not for flavor. Um, so I do have several things. So I like hot, and I like a basic level of hot. Like I said, I threw hot sauce into the jambalaya earlier. Sometimes I overly spice things. What was that? That was a car outside. Like I said, the highway is right there, like right outside the window, essentially of 100 feet, and people speed away from the light right there. Especially people who like to soup up their Camaros and Mustangs. That was more than likely a Mustang, judging by the exhaust sound. You can generally tell. Have you always been comfortable in front of the camera, or did it take a while? No, in front of the camera, I've been comfortable the whole time because I was behind the camera for a solid year before that. So, like, with my original channel, where I was just reviewing Gundam kits and Transformers and stuff like that, I stayed behind the camera as much as I could. And then, once I had a couple videos where I was talking about other people, talking to other people, I accidentally revealed my face without trying to. And I just said, screw it, there's no point in hiding this anymore. Um, I just try to keep my name as secret as I can, just for anonymity's sake. Because also, when it comes to my work, they're very, very particular about things, and they fired people for less. So sometimes I just really try to keep that anonymity, just a little bit of that barrier. But it's still one of the worst kept secrets on the internet as it is. But no, in front of the camera, I'm pretty good. Like it was the being comfortable just with talking is the thing. You just got to be able to talk. And if you can hold a conversation with no one but yourself, then you're going to be golden. Especially when it's not a live stream, when it's like vlogging, because I have vlogs on the secondary channel. That was one of the harder things to do. Try to be remotely interesting and have a conversation with no one. That's one of the harder things to do. Christine is here. Okay. Do I like tacos? Very much so. Thanks for asking. Don't give me that face with ranch. Ranch is amazing. Better than blue cheese. Blue cheese is disgusting. Um, yes, Laura, we are doing Ask Shoky. That's why it says Ask Shoky live right there. Speaking of which, since Christine just got here, I will answer her question from earlier that she sent me. Christine just got power back after many days of not having power. Okay, where was that? Oh, so you asked why did I keep my BlackBerry? So for those who don't know or didn't see the picture, I do have my last BlackBerry in a shadow box, and it's because I was an avid BlackBerry user. Like very much loved that phone. Prior to that, I had three different other ones. Even when iPhone and Galaxy phones were already coming out and significantly better, I wanted my BlackBerry. And I only had to get rid of it because the battery wouldn't stay in. I dropped it too many times. But I mean, I had one that I ran over with a truck, and it still worked enough to keep going. Like, so it was like I loved Blackberries. Had it took them too long to get the Android integration or the Windows integration and make them a little bit more solid, more of a smartphone, or else I probably would have kept going with them and not bothered with proper Samsung. But I'm happy with this. Thousand Island Girl on wings? I'm not using Thousand Island on wings. On dressing or on a salad, I could see Thousand Island. On a double cheeseburger with a whole bunch of lettuce on it, and I could also see that. It's mostly the secret sauce for the Big Macs. Okay, if tacos didn't exist, what would you eat instead? Tamales or quesadillas. Quesadilla is just a taco laying on the side, anyways. Okay, I know about the work thing. I had to sign a doc that basically says you can be fired for anything. Say online. Yeah, but the thing is, they actually never had us sign a document for that. They just sort of rolled it in. And there's a few people who got their job back. So there was a guy who got fired for making a comment. And don't get me wrong, it was an uncouth comment. But he only got fired because the person looked up on his profile that he worked for my company and they got in charge with corporate. Now, he wasn't talking about the company, he wasn't besmirching the company, he was just leaving an uncouth comment, and it took him 6 months to get his job back. And they had to pay him back for firing him. So there's that. Yeah, exactly. What were you talking about? Uncompany like. Yeah, exactly. They tried to come after me for posting a video one time, but it was a legitimate video that I was trying to show to someone to get an answer because I had no other way to get a hold of them. That was a poor thing on my part, but it also wasn't besmirching in any way. I took it down, but they got pissy about it and tried to write me up for it. I'm like, no, especially considering I didn't have any protection as management called me into the office about it. Oh wow, went out again. Well, they're probably reestablishing stuff, so they got to like shut it down, reconnect some stuff, and then turn it back on. Yeah, I understand. Oh, that's interesting. There's a lot of things. Will I mean, like there's a lot of questions. Will okay, if you could spend a week anywhere and any went hold on anywhere in time in the past, where would I go for a week? Jeez. I don't know. Is it any at any point in the past at all, like in since the Earth has existed, or like in my own personal past? No ranch period. Ugh. You're a terrible, terrible person, Trisha. Terrible, terrible. Yeah, you're right. Companies should, as if it's private, especially like I had to remove all of my coworkers from my Facebook except for like the three that I absolutely trusted, and then eventually figured out exactly who it was who ratted me out to the management. Can I drive a motorcycle? No. I could probably do it if I tried. Like I understand the literal mechanics of how to do it, but like I've tried to ride a bike or at least a four wheeler before, but my problem was being able to lift my foot enough to shift. So if I had the right shift lever for it, I probably could ride a bike. I've considered it. I thought a few years ago I thought about buying a bike because it was fairly cheap and gas was expensive, and I had plenty of money back then, and it was just me at that point actually. So I could have got one. I was gonna get a small. Was it a Honda? I think it was a Honda. Like a two, like a 80 cc or something, something to putt around on, basically, go back and forth to work, nothing too crazy. But also, I have short legs, so like I have to have a motorcycle I can reach the ground. Because a couple of them, like my buddy had crotch rockets, so some Yamaha crotch rockets, and I tried getting on one, and it was so high, like my feet were like not, I couldn't touch the ground. And he wasn't barely taller than me; he just had longer legs. It's just I have stubby legs. It is what it is. At any point. Ugh, jeez. Okay, here's an interesting thing if you want to go there. I don't know about anywhere I would be, But I would want to go back to, what was it, 1969 for the moon landing? Like, actually, like, be there, from the time, like, it launched, to the time, that they came back to Earth. That would be a really cool vacation to go back there and experience the moon landing situation. No, I think it's not about the. I don't want one where I can lean back. I want to be cognizant. I want to just be kind of up and forward. I don't want to lean back. But that was the difference between a crotch rocket and a cruiser. I thought about getting like a trike or something like that where I don't have to worry about it, and then I'd probably be fine. But in those cases, you could probably get an automatic transmission anyways, which is basically defeating half the purpose of the bike. I do have the fear of cars being stupid. I've seen too many motorcycle accidents and things like that. So, well, one of my direct coworkers rides a bike every day. That's his primary vehicle, and he's fine. But I also don't know if I could just do that. I don't know. We'll see. Sometime in the future, maybe. I'll piggyback to Laura's question. If you had a chance to go back in time, change something in your past, knowing you'd be in a slightly different timeline, would I do it? A bike in Thailand was dangerous in the 70s. I believe it. If you believe the moon landing happened, the moon landing happened. Woodstock. Why would I? No, I wouldn't go to Woodstock. Mm-mm. No, too dirty. Too nasty. Couldn't do it. Go back and change something in my past. There's a few things I would change in my past. Um, if we're getting real, I would go back and probably try to make a relationship last longer than it did, or say things the right way. Try to repair some stuff that I don't know. It's not exactly a regret, but something I wish I could have been able to continue, especially with my ex's daughter, because, like, had things been better, if I'd been less in my own head and a little bit more uh, in the moment, I could have been a little bit better of a pseudo stepdad. Nothing bad technically happened, but things could have been better. And I wish I could have fixed that. It probably wouldn't have changed the overall outcome, but it might have changed the ability to, for us to be able to talk after the fact. So I just heard 69. Oh, of course you did. Dirty, dirty Denise. Always worried about 69. Now, there's a few things I would go back in time to re-experience, but we're not going to talk about those things because that would be against YouTube. Hold on. Is there any musician in the past you would have loved to have met and seen in concert? I don't know about a musician right off the top of my head, but there's a comedian. I wish I had seen George Carlin live. I think we talked about that before when we were watching some of his bits. Like, on his final tour before he died, he came through Houston, and I wish I had been able to go. I will say this. Also, he said met. I don't really care about meeting people like that necessarily. Because there's a lot of don't meet your heroes situation. But I wish we went to Ozfest many, 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 many years ago. Me and my nephew. And unfortunately, because of his diabetes, he started having issues. About 3/4 of the way through the day, Metallica was the headliner. I would have loved to have been able to see Metallica. Even though that was roughly around the Saint Anger tour, which means it would have been playing that crap. But I got to see Apocalyptica, which was awesome, and I'd never heard of them. So there's that. And I got to watch Jonathan Davis from Korn flop around in a chair on his solo tour. That was bad. Glad I'd seen Korn proper before that. I just see George live here in Beaumont. Lucky. Oldie but a goodie. If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? Tara. Realistically. Like I said, regret. So, hi everyone, it's Patricia's here. What are your favorite and least favorite movies? That's such a broad question. You mean type of movies or you mean specific movies? Because that's a laundry list. Because, I mean, Back to the Future, Star Wars, things like that are going to be at the top, um, for sure. Least favorite movie? Grease. Definitely Grease. Definitely Grease is my least favorite movie. I've seen worse movies than Grease. Grease is my least favorite movie, for sure. Dirty Dancing is somewhere in that list too, but mostly because the wifey forces me to watch them, or I'm sorry, used to, because she would watch them every single time they came on TV, and they were coming on TV multiple times a month. So I was forced to sit through Grease and Dirty Dancing to the point of very, very much disliking those. I was never a big fan of Grease in the first place. Um, so there's that. But let's see. I don't know if I have an absolute favorite movie. Except maybe Back to the Future would be something I could always watch over again. The original. But I could watch the whole trilogy straight through and not be a problem. Indiana Jones. Ah, gotcha. Lost in Translation was boring. I could see that. I've actually never seen that movie. Can't be friends anymore? Why? Oh, because of Grease? Look, I was never a big fan of it in the first place. I don't like musicals. You guys know I don't like musicals, right? Ugh. They tried to force us to watch Grease 2 in school for one time, and that didn't work out well. That movie's even worse. Um, but like the movie itself is just dumb to me. But also being forced to watch it over and over and over with the wifey, no. Um, how do I feel about Big Lebowski? I've actually never seen it. I know all of the memes of it. I know most of the stuff of the movie, but I've actually never watched it. I've heard it's fantastic, realistically, and I would love to watch it. It's a stinker. That's funny. Love Grease as a kid, and as an adult, I'm taken aback by how raunchy it actually is. Yeah, definitely raunchy. Um, and what is it? Sandy is dead the whole time. Oh, your two favorite movies? Now, Dirty Dancing is not as bad. I actually do enjoy Dirty Dancing. That's a good movie. It just got overplayed for me. So, that's just it's gonna take a while for it to get back into good graces. It's not Grease would be my least favorite, period, because of that. I don't know if that I had a least favorite movie other than that. Sorry, stretching my legs. It's the original Valley Girl movie. Nope, I don't even know what that is, to be honest. Have not seen that. I will say one of my speaking of Valley Girls, one of my favorite movies that involves a Valley Girl is Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde and Legally Blonde 2 are really good movies. It's kind of stupid how good those movies are. Grease was the first movie you saw in the theater. Wow, that's crazy. Makes sense though. See, I feel like I would really like it, mostly because like my friends who had also seen it really liked it, or my friends who I was very much on par with really enjoyed that movie. So I think I would like it. Maybe I just need to sit down and watch it, talk about it. One another really good movie a lot of people don't ever talk about is Snatch. Snatch is a great movie. Uh, Talking about movies, are there any remakes that you like surprisingly more than the original? Interesting. Uh, the Willow reboot, and we're actually going to talk about that on the podcast because I saw that the trailer for the sequel, it's technically Willow 2. Um, I've never seen Willow, so I've got nothing. That was a movie I was never interested in. Um, reboot movie. I got to think about that. Any movie remakes that I liked better than the original? Hell, no. I was gonna say Hellboy, but no. I just remembered. No, that movie was terrible. Um, Damn. That's actually a hard question because now I have to go through and remember what are remakes. There you go, episode 7. No, I'm just kidding. Episode 7's not better than episode 4. Um, Ever seen John Tucker Must Die? I don't think so. It seemed like something I wanted to watch, but I don't remember if I've seen it, to be totally honest. I know I've seen it around. Yes, of course. Well, that's a silly question. No repercussions. Of course, I would do that. First movie I ever saw was in a drive-in. That's pretty cool. I'm still trying to think of something I like better than the original. That's a good question because like now I have to think about it. It's probably gonna come into my brain eventually. Oh, of course. Yes, definitely saw Encino Man. It's one of my favorites from my preteen era. Okay, hold on. My least favorite movie, Time Bandits. Interesting. Still have nightmares about that. Second least favorite is 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts really freaked me out the first time I saw it, and then once I got over that, I actually enjoy how bad that movie really is. It was a bad, bad movie, but it's pretty cool. I owned that for a while. I don't have it anymore. But yes, definitely saw Encino Man. I was very much a 90s Pauly Shore fan, for sure. Oh, you were actually saying a name of a movie. Red Dwarf, yes or no? I never saw all of Red Dwarf, but I enjoyed what I watched of Red Dwarf because it was playing on PBS here. Um, I thought it was funny. I thought it was interesting sci-fi. And then like there was I guess like the longer it went and the weirder they got with the story, like after the time skip and all kinds of other stuff happened, or like I think it was even the second time skip. Um, I don't know. I just I fell out of love with it, but then again, I may have been watching other stuff by that point. But no, I enjoyed Red Dwarf. That was funny. Rima. Oh, and my ankle is itching. I think I have little hairs still kind of all over me. Even though I showered after I cut my hair, I think I have a little bit of hair on me. That's why I'm itching all over right now. And I was wearing this shirt when I cut my hair, but I had a poncho on essentially to try to catch the hair as much as possible. Still got a lot of it around my neck, so I'm itching. I thought dwarves were after me for years after Time Bandits. Too young. That's crazy. That's really crazy. I'm still trying to think of a remake that I like better than the original. Part of me wants to say, and it's not a movie, but Seven Samurai, the anime, which is technically a remake of Magnificent Seven, which is a remake of Samurai Seven or Seven Samurai. Um, that was really good. That's one of those ones that I definitely enjoyed that anime for sure. Damn, why can't I think of a remake that I like better? That is weird. Like, there's got to be something. I'm just not coming up with it. What kind of student was I in high school? That kind of went to school. No, I was kind of a nerd. Go figure. But like, oh, I really did like Legend of Vox Machina. That shit was fantastic. Talked about that on the podcast. That show was not at all what I expected it to be, and Sean recommended it. Did I like school? I liked school to a degree. I liked being around other people. I liked having friends, of course, which I don't have now. Um, what was the other thing? I was good, because art was my thing, for the most part. So I enjoyed my art classes and things like that. I enjoyed relationships with certain teachers because, you know, at some point I started establishing a more adult relationship with my teachers. Not like that, to where like they would give me extra responsibility, especially once I got to the point where I could be a teacher's aide and stuff like that. I was a teacher's aide for one teacher in particular for like 2 years almost, and then off and on, just depending on where I was at. And I really enjoyed my art teacher because I had her for pretty much throughout high school, and like we had a really good rapport. She would she had her good students, and then the other ones where she actually had to teach them something. So that was that. I didn't do sports or anything else like that. So I mean, like, I was at some point I was an above average student, and then I stopped caring, so I just kept myself at just barely middling, but still finished top like 19%, something like that, without trying. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna miss some things here. Travel anywhere in the world. Where would you go and why? I don't know if we could technically help you out on that, John. You might have to do that outside of the chat. Realistically, I don't know if there's legal ramifications for attempting to sell things in the chat. Would go anywhere in the world. Right now, there's not a lot of places I'd want to go. I'm gonna be honest with you. Before the world was the mess that it is now, I would have loved to have gone to the UK to do many things. I would love to go to Germany to go check out the Nürburgring. I would love to go to Sweden to see anything of whatever, wherever my family came from there. Go to Ukraine to go find the village that my grandfather and grandmother originally came from. Stuff like that. Japan is always going to be at the top of the list of where I'd like to go because Japan, Tokyo specifically. But I'd love to go for the other cultural kind of stuff for that. Let's see here. Let's see, I was wondering why Time Bandits. Sat on my grandmother's rocking chair for weeks after that movie. She was 100% deaf, and she'd wake up, find me there, and I was scaring her. That's hilarious, April. So I don't know why it bothered me. Kind of some people's reaction to clowns, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like I had those kind of reactions to certain movies, especially younger. But like the Ring bothered me for a really, really, really long time. But like if you watch to the end, you know, when Samara comes out of the TV and then you see her face, I had nightmares about that for a very long time. I'm not even talking about like a little while after. That got to me. Somebody with an overly creative mind, when you see something horrifying like that, even though even now it's just kind of dumb, it sticks with you, and then your brain can just do all kinds of stupid shit to your brain. Let's see here. I drew stick figures on the board and everyone's self-esteem rose. Okay, I need to see the gnome mobile. What? Don't like clowns. Nobody should like clowns. Clowns are stupid. Yeah, dwarves can be freaky. Oh, there's a movie that bothered me, and I still don't know what it was. I saw it as a kid. I think it was a movie version of Through the Looking Glass, if there was such a thing. And I remember that there was this weird kind of dragony dinosaur thing that was chasing what I think was Alice. And it was really fucking scary. But also, the Black Hole, that movie, Disney's Black Hole, as it were. That movie, what was that? What was that evil robot called? I know many of you probably remember that. Was it Maximilian? I think it was Maximilian. Freaked me out. Like that movie is pretty fucking scary for like a good bit of it. And then also the rollers from Return to Oz were also really scary, but then like you watch it now, it's just goofy as hell. It was meant to scare kids, so it is that. Are there video games outside of Halo franchise you liked and you like playing? Yes, Pokemon, Minecraft, uh, many different racing games over the years. Just depending, you know, went from Gran Turismo into Forza to Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, which was one of my favorites. Currently, I've got a Untitled Goose Game is fantastic. That is a fantastic indie game. Everybody should play that. Let's see here. The second movie I saw at theater. Gnomes are not scary. Okay. Oh, original War of the Worlds. Yeah, that's crazy. Nightmare on Elm Street like bothered me, but I don't think it. I think the campiness of it eventually like neutralized it. I think the Jason movies got me more than Nightmare, Friday the 13th, stuff like that. Surprisingly, I've never really seen the Halloween movies, but I've seen a lot of both of the other two types of movies. Hell, I randomly. Oh, The Blob. The Blob freaked me out. I watched that at my grandma's house somehow. I don't remember why we were there working on something. I don't even know what we were there for. Maybe it's just a random Sunday. And The Blob was on TV, like the remake, not the original. and that scared the shit out of me once I saw it like start dissolving people and shit like that. But then there was like I do remember that there was a scene where a couple was making out in the car, and like the dude like unbuttoned the chick's shirt and was like feeling her up and stuff like that. I was like, interesting. Like I think I was like 9, so it's like okay. It was an awakening. Poltergeist. Poltergeist was pretty freaking terrifying. Not gonna lie. The special effects in that movie still kind of hold up. Poltergeist 2, is it 2 that's in the skyscraper? That freaked me out too. But it's the funny thing is it's not even the like scary ghost effects through the movie that freaked me out. It's the scene when they figured out what happened with the preacher and his cult, and then like when he went to kill everybody, and that part freaked me out more than anything else. I have a vague memory of that. Nightmare movies that scared me. Nice. Okay, so let me turn back a question on you guys from earlier. What was any of y'all's favorite cartoons? Since we have a wide range of ages here, your favorite cartoons as a child. Werewolf movies still scare me. I'll take vampires and aliens. That's funny. Yep, the concept of that is definitely freaky. For sure. This is funny that you're scared of werewolves, but the other things don't bother you. So wait, how did the Twilight movies work out for you? It's got two different things. I liked all cartoons. Yes, but I mean, like, what were your go-tos? Baby doll, DBZ. That makes sense. Mighty Mouse. Okay. Sometimes I'll get the phone because I can see the reactions faster. Mighty Mouse. I saw some Mighty Mouse back in the day. Yeah, DBZ was most people's. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon were all like my entry to anime, and then Ronin Warriors as well. Scooby Doo, very good. Disney personality, but I love all things horror. I often find those two things go together. I absolutely find those things go together. Galaxy Rangers, GI Joe, Thundercats, She-Ra, He-Man, nice. Oh, you like Thundercats? You like my Thundercat statues that I've got. Favorite cartoons: Flintstones and Jetsons. Hanna-Barbera. Okay. Scooby Doo. No, not still. I mean, unless you're talking about if you're talking about original Scooby Doo, and even maybe like a pup named Scooby Doo, those were acceptable. The later remakes, redos, reattempts, none of them are anywhere near as good, except for Scooby Natural. The Natural episode was fantastic. Jetsons always never made sense to me. Always never made sense to me. I mean, that's a sentence I just said. All right. I was in a shows like the Monkeys, American Bandstand, more in cartoons. I mean, the Monkeys was a living cartoon. It was a live action cartoon. You notice we've gotten repeated Flintstones live action movies, but never a live action Jetsons? Because nobody would believe it. I like the idea that the Flintstones and the Jetsons are technically on the same planet at the same time. It's just that's why they never go down to the surface of the planet. All their homes and buildings and everything are way above everything in the clouds. They're the futuristic humans. They're the more advanced humans that escaped the tyranny of the dinosaurs. Okay. I was more into Sid and Marty Krofft shows on Saturdays, but the Jetsons. Okay. Bugs Bunny, I can't remember the name. Marvin the Martian. Yep. Good job. OG Scooby Doo is the best. Yep. Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes were good. They were cute. Wow. Of course. Of course that's all that mattered, Denise. George Jetson was born this year. That's weird. That is weird. Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons was a great show too. Speaking of Looney Tunes, the sequel to Looney Tunes. That was fantastic. By the way, guys, go watch the Rescue Rangers movie. It's fantastic. It brings back so many memories. So I got an email. By the way, guys, if you have any questions for the podcast, you can send them to nowyoumade.it@gmail.com. Because we don't have any interaction. Like, we have a few comments that we'll read out and stuff like that, but nobody sends us questions. We mostly just get replies and comments. Pinky and the Brain was great. I like how Pinky and the Brain was its own thing with an Animaniacs and then became its own show. Also, a lot of people seem to conflate Animaniacs with Tiny Toons. I think there was a tiny bit of overlap, but they weren't the same thing. I don't like when cartoons are made in the live action. Feels like a strip away what made them special in the first place. Yep, that's a problem. Zoids. That's not real. Like, that's a real thing, Jack. Original Land of the Lost. The remake of Land of the Lost was pretty cool. I watched that as a kid. Shazam, ISIS Hour. Not cartoon, Saturday morning shows. Yeah, I miss Saturday morning shows like that, where they could also have like a variety show combined with cartoons, shorts, and stuff like that. Hell, I watched Pee Wee Herman or Pee Wee's Playhouse for forever. I also watched the Weird Al. For most people, don't remember that Weird Al had a weird variety show like that for kids as well. And then Beakman's World, stuff like that. You know, where it was a live action thing, but it was still cartoony. You know, but that was also kind of a smarter show. Beakman was a less serious Bill Nye the Science Guy, and I always loved Beakman's World. Yes, but we need the email to function. Because the reason I do the email is because sometimes other people don't care about comments. It's all over the place, Christine. But tomorrow, oh yeah, you weren't here earlier. So tomorrow will be Dave Chappelle. Like, Dave Chappelle being attacked, what his attackers said and stated his reasons for doing things were, and then we talk about bullying and stuff like that. So yeah. And then prior to that was just whatever. And then Sunday's episode will be Ricky's story about going up to Maryland for vacation and going to Skullfest. Now, I put that one as the extra this week because other than people who are in the know, most people aren't going to give a shit about that. It's like, that's mostly for people who really know about all the slee stacks. The slee stacks. It's such a terrible word. It's a terrible derogatory term for lizard people. Were slee stacks lizards or they were monkey? I can't remember what they look like. They're weird looking, right? I started watching Squidbillies for a while. There's something so wrong with that cartoon. Very much so. Most of the Adult Swim content is horrible. I watched Squidbillies for a while too. Some of it is hilarious. Some of it's terrible. I tried watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and that show doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I even tried watching the movie. I fell asleep, and then I had no clue what was going on, and I just was absolutely confused about everything that was happening. There's other shows that have survived being on Adult Swim because they actually had a story to them. Other ones that were just random weird shit. No. Who had the sound first, Slee Stacks or Vader? Probably Slee Stacks, technically. If I had to guess. Because Land of the Lost originally was in black and white, right? So they would have to have been around before Vader. Was that? Oh, Nova? Yeah, Nova was a great show on PBS. Yep. Yeah, see, that's my problem. For me, random doesn't equal funny anymore. Like, I grew out of that. It's like, no, I kind of want some sense to my thing. Like last night, I watched the new Ricky Gervais special on Netflix, and some of that was random and not as funny, but the stuff where he's literally just running it all together like he should was really pretty fucking funny. Yeah, like we're saying, Nova was a good show. I used to watch a lot of PBS science and natural type things, like, you know, nature stuff like that. All these things that are like now kind of covered by the Discovery Channel or whatever Discovery technically is. Now Discovery became a giant frickin' corporation instead of just a network. Lizards. Okay. Watched a video the other day about the origins of Hanna-Barbera and its downfall. It's pretty interesting. Interesting. Documentary on Benny Hill. Nice. Lionel lost his color, but in 74, Supreme. Favorite swear word? Someone's trying to get me kicked off YouTube. My favorite swear word I probably wouldn't say on YouTube, to be totally honest. Because I also like to get creative and combine them into different things. So, but usually some derivation of fuck will be in there, and usually with other things attached to it to make it more interesting. And it's probably, I think fuck is the most versatile curse word there is. It can be almost any type of word. So I guess technically speaking, if you're going to go there, fuck would be the best. The best. You know what's really funny? Growing up, cursing was always like this thing. It was just like, it was always seen, like, I don't remember my parents really cussing around me as a kid, like, other than maybe saying damn or even shit. Like, I didn't hear the word fuck until I started listening to uncensored music. And I was like, huh. And then I literally learned more about the word as time went on. But, like, my parents didn't start using that at all, or even, like, what I would consider worse language until I was in my teens. And then later. And I love now, even my mom tries to censor me. It's just like, I've heard you say these words. Why are you trying to censor me now? But it was funny, like, because even as a kid, you know, I remember specifically being in like either fifth or sixth grade when I started cussing, and bitch was the word I used first. It's an interesting thing. What was the first curse word you actively used? Yeah, I bet. PBS Kids shows in the afternoon, late 80s, Square One. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. What is he saying? So, sorry, I had to read this. Okay, so this was Sean. You know, if you followed the podcast, Sean was in the first few episodes before he ultimately couldn't make the schedule. And he's been trying to cut weight, and he's working out with his cousin to get him ready for a bodybuilding competition. And Sean's already very fit and very built. So he has cheat days where he's allowed to eat things, and usually ice cream is his go-to cheating thing. And like he's been avoiding eating anything. And then Ricky and I specifically were talking about how good mint chocolate ice cream was. So he bought some mint chocolate ice cream, and he fucking hated it because he's a dumbass. So I don't know how somebody grows up without having mint chocolate ice cream, especially in Texas, because I mean Bluebell makes some of the best. YouTube does care. It just depends on your audience and specific. There's certain words that if I say it, they might actually shut down the stream. Fun fact: there is a name. There is a name you cannot say on YouTube. If you say this name, they will immediately kill your stream. This is not a joke. There is a name that is banned from being spoken on YouTube. A name of a person that did a thing. And if you say it, and I've seen it happen, like legitimately seen it happen, because the person who was having the discussion forgot for a moment they couldn't say that, and then when they did, the stream almost instantly went down. So they do auto monitor those things. Nope, not Voldemort. Voldemort is a name you can say. MathNet? I sort of remember that. But also, the main reason I don't want it in the chat is also because other people can see the chat later, especially in the replay, not just here on the screen where I've got it, but in the actual replay itself. I'm not going to continue to read what they just said. I forgot where I was. Oh, because they still try to keep things somewhat family. That's what I was trying to get to. Housemate likes fuckerdoodle instead of just fuck. That's weird. Yeah, it'd be nice to know it. You can Google it. You can't say it, obviously. Let's see. Don't really swear my everyday language. My niece and nephews also know to watch their language around you. My daughter at 3 flew something out of her mouth and knew she didn't learn from me. Oh, I said the word. Technically, the first curse word I ever said was fuck. So I guess there we go. But I didn't know I was saying a bad word. I was trying to say the word truck, and I was like 2, you know. And the daycare literally had to have a talk with my mom because I was talking. I was getting really excited and pointing and yelling about the fuck. And then it wasn't until I literally, like I said, read firefuck. Nobody finally figured out what I was trying to say. I couldn't. TH didn't work for me. I still have a very minor speech impediment thing that I've tried to work around. It's STs and SPs. Somehow I learned to say them, but they would go up through like my sinuses and like come out as a weird other noise. And it took a long time once I realized what I was doing to avoid it and try to actually make it come out my mouth instead. So even there, instead. So I had to focus. Yeah. So the funny thing is with when me calling things a fuck is that my parents definitely knew they weren't saying that word around me. But like even now, like I got friends who curse around their kids. They try not to curse at their kids, but when necessary, they understand. So that the kids learn that while this is an adult language, you also don't use it in every situation. So that way they don't see their parents cursing, uh, with certain people and away from other certain people, or not using words with them and then using it with other people. So something like that, just a nice balance, but also making sure the kids know to not use it in polite company. But if you're with your friends or you're with your family and stuff like that, that's another story. An occasional damn. Sounds like a little girl without that age of just learning and talking. Like, hold on, I wanna summon the wifey real quick. Let me summon the wife. Oh, okay. That's funny. YouTube censor thing is way serious thanks to Google's. That's funny, actually. Oh, really? Girl will curse in Italian. Yes, cursing in another language. Hey, baby. I got a question for you. You don't have to come on the camera. Just come in where they can hear you reply. So we were talking about favorite curse words. So I said mine was mine was probably fuck because it can be used so many different ways. But then I also kind of went back to the fact that it was essentially my first curse word ever, because you've heard the story when I used to say it as a kid, trying to say the word truck. So, do you recall what your first like the first curse word you actively used?
Screwing. It's not even a cuss word.
No.
I told my brother, quit screwing with me, and my stepmom slapped.
I remember you told me that, but like, what is the first like? So I also said the first curse word that I would say in secret was bitch. Like that was my first curse word I actively used was bitch. Do you can you
I don't remember.
do you remember? Think
I'm old. I don't remember.
You're younger than me, bitch. Let's see here. Everybody's saying hi to you. She's waving. Oh, this Christine says her sister's new man has a mouth like a sewer. That's funny.
sailor? Huh?
She said sewer, but yeah,
Sewer. Trash.
curses quite a lot.
Trash.
Yeah. So just doing a Q&A. You can't like you didn't say ass or anything like that, or damn.
I said damn. I don't remember.
Like around fifth and sixth grade, I think is when most people started cursing. That's when I did.
I think the first time I said fuck, I was like, oh.
Yeah. So you used to cuss around your friends, but not around your parents for like the longest time.
I would around my dad, but not my stepmom.
Yeah. I mean, knowing
My dad
your
didn't give a shit.
knowing your surrogate parents, yeah, I wouldn't think that language would be an issue back then.
No.
Yes, more and more people are saying hi. No. Guys, you got any questions for her real quick? It's gonna take a delay here. That's weird.
Can I clean your room sometime?
Yes, I'm working on it. That's why I kept that last box in there so I can stuff more trash in it. Yeah, the cave needs to be cleaned again, but it's like once I get into a groove of doing a whole lot of reviews, I end up with a lot more trash, and then it just.
You have ADD.
Sometimes.
You start one project and then like.
Well, I move it in stages. Denise says that she never curses, but then put a little devil emoji. She's a liar. Denise is a liar. None of them have a. Oh, okay. What is your favorite thing about me? From Trisha. That's a silly question.
You're a smart ass. I think it's funny when you do stuff. You say funny stuff sometimes, but it's stupid at the same time.
Yeah. That's your favorite?
You have a job.
I have a job. That's a great thing.
Yay, moving on up.
Yep, exactly. So earlier they asked me what my favorite and least favorite movie was. Couldn't pin down a favorite exactly, but I pinned down my least favorite. Can you guess what it is?
Dirty Dancing.
That was second. What is actually the worst?
Is it one of my favorites?
Yes. What's the other movie you forced me to watch a million times?
Grease?
Yes.
Grease is awesome. The second one is trash. The first one is awesome.
I like how Dearly just came in saying all kinds of curse words, making me have to approve them. You guys can't curse in the chat. We have to approve that shit. At least censor yourself a little. Any other questions for her real quick while she's here? Denise loves Dirty Dancing. Somebody else said they love Dirty Dancing in Greece. So
I mean, if they don't love Dirty Dancing, then you don't.
I didn't say I hated Dirty Dancing. I said I hated that I had to watch it so many times. I actually liked the movie. I hated that you made me watch it all the fucking time.
Did you know he wrote that song because they couldn't find a track in time? So he wrote that one song, She's Like the Wind. Patrick Swayze wrote that for the movie because they couldn't get approval on a song. So he was like, screw it, I'll write a song then. So he wrote She's Like the Wind.
I'm going to need to see some facts on that.
It's on that Movies That Made Us show.
Oh, that's right. We did watch that. Trisha again wants to know what your favorite musical is. And that means you have to count every Disney movie you sing along to as well.
I mean, I don't know if it's a musical, but when we went and saw Shen Yun.
That's not a musical. That's a play.
I never really seen a musical.
Considering movies, Grease is a musical.
I saw a Grease musical.
Yeah, but Grease is a musical.
Yeah.
In and of itself. Not meaning in a theater. Even
like a movie musical?
Yes.
Oh, Bring It On. That's so awesome.
Bring It On isn't a musical. They don't sing in that.
But they do cheers.
Yeah, but they don't sing.
Prepare for total domination.
It's not like...
They still sing and stuff and dancing.
I guess, but that's not the same. The music doesn't break away from the rest of the thing to do it as part of the movie. Like all
I guess it'd have to be one of the Pitch Perfect movies then.
Pitch Perfect is technically a musical, technically speaking, but then again, in that case, so is Sister Act.
Oh yeah, Sister Act. I like the second one.
Yeah, the second one's generally better. I'm gonna say no. She's definitely not seen proper musicals, guys.
I don't think I've seen.
No.
If I saw one, I think I would want to see like Wicked.
Yeah, I would see. I would watch Wicked. It'd have to be done well.
All right, well, let's go to New York and go to Broadway and go watch a musical.
We can watch the shit off Broadway. We don't have to go to New York. There's plenty of other theater companies that do that shit. We need to watch Hamilton at some point. Actually, most of these things are probably on Netflix. Favorite Disney movie, baby?
Probably Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Little Mermaid,
Little Mermaid.
which is also a musical technically.
And Moana. It's not about the ocean.
It's about the ocean. I was gonna say I'm leaning towards Moana because you can't not watch Moana when it's on.
Yeah. It's true.
Yep. All right, one more question for her, guys, and then we're gonna go because it's already 9:30. Will says that's his favorite too. I don't.
Moana?
Which one, Will? April says that you and her would probably get along. Yeah, but she would just sit there quietly, probably
Yeah,
not talk
shy.
to you. She's very shy. Moana. Dearly said, "What's Moana?"
What can I
Okay,
say?
Will. So
Joe Buck?
Little
You're
Mer.
gonna get copyrighted.
No, that's fine because you're singing it. You can only go so long. But no, he said Little Mermaid was his favorite.
Oh, it's a dingle hopper.
Yep. Disney kid. Hold on.
Snarf blaster.
So she says Sound of Music, or does Trisha said
Oh,
Sound of
yes,
Sound of Music,
yes.
Oklahoma, Little Shop of Horrors, Point Your Wagon are all older musicals, and
Little Shop of
and
Horrors.
some of those are movies too.
Yeah.
Both of those are great. Sound of Music is one of my favorite.
I
Beauty.
think of Sound of Music, but yeah, that's probably one of my other favorite ones, just because of the history behind it too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What does this say? All right, one more question. One more question, guys. It can be for both of us or just her, because I talked a lot about me tonight. See, you should be on.
Who's my inner Disney character?
What is the seagull from Little Mermaid? That would be you.
No.
Yeah. What was his name? The seagull.
Gully.
Gully? I think it's Gully. Seems right. Trisha and April would get along. I think a lot of y'all would get along. It's like you guys always talk about the same stuff. Mostly home free, though. Still waiting. One more question, y'all. Come on. They're coming up with things. Sometimes it's hard for questions because a lot of times it's favorites. I was asked a question earlier I couldn't come up with an answer to. His favorite remake or favorite movie that's a remake. Or a remake was better than the original. I was like, I can't come up with one. What does that mean, Christine? Who liked who better first? I don't know if that's a real question.
Well,
Scuttle. Scuttle.
Scuttle.
Not Gully. There is a Gully somewhere. Or are we thinking of Eagly? We're combining Eagly from Peacemaker into a seagull. His name's Gully. Daughter was Pirates of Penzance. Oh, nice.
You pursued me first.
Dune.
You liked my dog.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Laura. That's perfect. She gave me the right answer. Dune. Dune. The latest Dune is better than the previous Dunes. So that's a good point. Yes. Who liked who better first? I don't know if better is a thing there. Yes, I did pursue you.
You drove to see me.
Yeah, because you weren't going to drive to come see me.
No.
Until later, because then you liked me better first. I think.
Honestly, I just stuck around. I mean, I'm just here.
I mean, I only got you to leave your entire life behind and come be with me.
I know.
So I think
I
you.
just kind of settled. I mean, you have a job, so I mean that was a plus. You didn't do drugs. That was a plus.
Still don't.
Still don't.
If only I can quit the hookers.
Tell them hookers to wash the dishes or something.
That's not what they're here for. They're not here to do dishes. Oh, that's a good point, Patricia. She says her favorite remake is Freaky Friday. The Freaky Friday remake is better than the old Freaky Friday.
Wait, which one? The one with cooking girl. What's her name?
Yes, that one.
The redhead.
Yes.
Mean girl.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Could have remembered it. Lindsay Lohan. That was a much better one for sure. How long have you guys been married? Technically, we'll be going on. I don't know. What did we say our actual marriage date technically is? I know what our
6 months.
I know what our actual anniversary is.
I don't.
It's July 19th.
So we're coming on 7 years.
Yeah.
Damn.
6. Yeah. 2015. 7 years.
I need to find somebody else. I need to trade up.
We're not married. We're
in the eyes of Texas.
In the eyes of Texas and my job, we're married. We have legally binding contract via that. So, but until she eliminates all of her student debt. I'm not going to sign that piece of paper just yet. That's just the truth of it. But it's a good point. Freaky Friday remake was definitely better than the old one. Nutty Professor?
I never liked Nutty Professor. I don't like any of his movies. I'm sorry. I just can never get into them.
No, Dr. Dolittle. Which Dr. Dolittle remake is the worst? All of them. All of them are the worst. The original Dr. Dolittle was a way better movie. Because it had the push me pull you in it.
Chocolate.
Oh, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I like the second one.
Nope.
Remake.
Not with Johnny Depp. That was terrible.
It.
That's terrifying, and he's insane in that movie. The original's better.
I did always have a thing for what's his name? From the original Charlie Chocolate Factory.
Oh.
Willy Wonka. What's his name?
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. I used to have a thing for him. I thought he was so cute. As an old man, he was the freaking cutest.
What are the hookers here for? Review purposes. If you pay them, they do things. They just don't do dishes. It's fine. Parent Trap. Ooh, there's a good one. That was also Lindsay Lohan.
Mm-hmm.
The remake was better.
I actually like the first one.
Yeah, with Haley. Haley.
Together. Yeah.
What was her name? Haley something. Why am I blanking on her name?
The mom. She died, right? The mom.
No, the girl who in the original Parent Trap, the one who played the twins, is Haley somebody. Blonde girl. Speaking of Lindsay Lohan, yep. 7 years married according to the law. Yeah, technically. The men all perked up at the mention of the hookers. Yeah, no kidding. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka all the way. Yeah. Haley Mills, thank you. Couldn't remember her last name. I could remember that any other given day, but today I couldn't remember Haley Mills. No, I would say the Lindsay Lohan one was better, even though that British accent was garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. It's like those are the kind of remakes that I can.
That's a long movie.
It is a long movie. I mean, that's actually like 2 movies because you have the entire camp section, which is the whole front part of the movie, and then you have the entire back section. That's its own movie. Yeah, that could have been 2 movies in and of itself. I'm trying to think if there's still a good now that has been brought up. Now I'm thinking about it. I almost said Hellboy, but Hellboy was terrible. Even you. So guys, she had never seen a Hellboy movie, and I took her to go see the reboot, and then immediately after showed her the original, and she said the original was better. Not that she probably remembers.
The movie we watched last weekend was really good.
Rescue Rangers. Yep, I talked about it already. Yeah, the Rescue Rangers movie is fantastic. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
I used to like Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Okay.
And I watched. I mean, is Family Guy considered a cartoon?
Yes, but you weren't. But you weren't a kid.
I wasn't a kid.
You're not that young. I'd be robbing the cradle.
No kidding.
Still.
Ren and Stimpy. I watched.
So you had access to the cable shows I didn't.
Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, so you had access to the cable shows I didn't have.
Beavis and Butthead.
I had to go to Brian's house to watch Beavis and Butthead.
Why would your mom not allow you to watch it?
No, we didn't have cable. We didn't have cable or satellite. Brian had satellite. So I'd go over there and watch it. We'd get together. I think it was on Beavis and Butthead. I think it was on either Wednesday or Thursday nights. I would go over there.
Ren and Stimpy, and then Tom and Jerry.
That's very different.
I used to watch. You can't. I used to watch All
Yeah.
This is all that.
What about Kids Incorporated?
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
not a cartoon, but she watches all the Kids Incorporated crap on
The
YouTube.
remastered episodes are freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
So,
Fergie's in there.
so, someone just, who was it that said? Oh, April brought up a very good point. The It remake movies were better than the original. I think they're better movies.
I think it's a good movie, but the original is just such a classic.
There's something about the original and the way that it was handled.
It's better than the other. The second one had, more, I guess, a better story. Like this, I like the second part of the second one when all the adults.
Yeah, but see, they could have rewrote that entire. Both of those movies could have been rewritten to be told separately. We didn't need kids and adults in both.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't have to do that. Yep, we're gonna go to. That's fine. I went from kitschy miniseries to phenomenon.
Good night.
Trisha said she loved Kids Incorporated and kids songs.
Tell her to look it up on YouTube because she'll get addicted.
I don't have to tell her anything. She can hear you.
Oh.
You think you've been just talking to me this whole time and they couldn't hear your replies.
Yeah.
But yes. But yeah, guys, it is go time. I'll see y'all tomorrow for Home Friday Live. We're going to go to bed, essentially. You know, still school night, technically. So, thanks for coming and hanging out and asking the questions. It was definitely fun. We'll do it more often later on. And maybe I'll get her more involved. Try to get her behind the camera, even. I have another mic now. I can make things happen. So, see y'all later. And remember, as always, it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be loud. I'm not used to not having my button. Bye, guys.